Hello friends! I am here to do a book review of Hands-On Chaos Magic, Reality Manipulation Through the Ovaki Current by Andre Vitamus. And here's the cover. I will have it linked down below. It's an affiliate link, but I wanted to share how wicked good this was. I saw this on Ivy the Occultist channel, so I grabbed it. She recommended it for like energy work and stuff, and I'm trying to work on my shielding and all sorts of things. Anyway, revisiting, right? And I have bullet points over here if I'm looking over, so I don't forget to tell you anything. But this is the best book I've read in a very long time. You know, we're always hoping that some miraculous witchcraft book will come out to give us some nuggets of new, you know, that new information that you love and you just crave at the very beginning of your practice. This is one of those books. Now, I've been a witch for almost 30 years. I think everybody knows that by now. Not always practicing, but most of the time. This is the best book I've read in so long. I wish that I had come across it sooner, or that it was available when I first started out in the 80s, which I think is when he started. I could be wrong. I always think I'm younger than I am. But the way he talks and the teachings, I think we started right around the same time. So anyway, I could be wrong. He may be much younger. I didn't do any information on that. This is beyond like a beginner's book. This is probably from beginners to more advanced. I think anybody in a magical or manifestation practice, you know, anything that involves manipulating energy, I think this should be a primer for any magical practice. I don't say that lightly. It's not just a bunch of theoretical or chaos magic jargon either. It's for any path, really anybody that works with energy. He has stuff about energy manipulation, manifestation, creating and deploying servitors, which is what I actually picked it up for. I'm starting my servitor tree. I'm going to make her a tree house. So that's what I got this book for, and it's excellent. Did not disappoint. Evoking and invoking, creating anchors and locks. And he talks about, like, the lock is like when you burn sage and during ritual forever. Like, I've burned sage and Palo Santo and like frankincense and myrrh. So anytime I feel that, it's like an immediate, my vibration raises. I'm immediately in circle or in ritual space. It's just it's almost an unconscious reaction. And he talks a lot about that. The more senses you can bind to that spell, the more successful you'll be. So, isn't this a mess? I was teasing with Miss Corvus on her channel that her copy is so neat and that I had destroyed mine and then I forgot to show her a picture. So here's my copy. I finally stopped annotating it at the end. The servitor bits were, because I was annotating like every page and it was ridiculous. I underline, I highlight, I make a mess. But anyway, it's like having a magical laboratory right in your fingertips while you're reading it, you know. You want to jump out and do all these things that he's telling you to try in there. There is a couple parts where it requires like a partner. So that was kind of hard. I don't know if I could find a buddy to kind of practice these exercises with, but there are some two or more people exercises in there, but there are a ton of solo exercises just to get you thinking differently and manipulating the energy that you're so familiar with differently. And if you're just starting out, oh my gosh, this book is gold for you. I wish I had had it as a brand new baby witch. Oh my gosh. Sorry, tea break. I'm drinking peppermint this morning because my belly's bugging me. So what's really cool is Vitamus, I think that's how you pronounce his name. Vitamus does a nod to NLP, which is, it stands for Neuro-Linguistic Programming. And I studied this back in the 80s. My mom and I went to like this conference, a workshop, just giving you some tools if you're having anxiety or whatever. And basically the premise of this NLP is to take whatever is bothering you and shift it both in your physical, like your mind's eye, and switch the emotion that is tied to that image as well. And you practice and practice and practice, and eventually that memory or whatever that trigger is doesn't affect you as much, because you have thought of it and reprogrammed it so differently. Now, I love it, and I've been using it since I went in the 80s with my mom to that conference. And sorry, I gotta put my tea down. And so I've since learned it's considered pseudoscience by like the psychology profession, which is fine. That's fine. But even if it's a placebo effect, it's working for me. And I have clinical depression and anxiety and all the pain stuff with fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue and all this shit, right? All this stuff I deal with every day. So the NLP has really helped me not be reactive. It's helped with my grieving process of like losing my life type of thing. So the NLP really helps me to kind of restructure how I think of things and kind of raise everything's vibration just a little, you know, so I'm not cynical and old and grumpy. So I'm not sure what you feel about NLP or if you've even heard of it, but do some research on it. It's super interesting and I feel it works. But I digress. I am not a psychology major or anything. I took a few psychology courses in college and loved them. So now I'm like a psychology wannabe, you know, person. I'm always interested in those articles and stuff. So anyway, I thought it was pretty cool that he employs that into his practice, and he does it so seamlessly. It's like woven into the fabric of his practice. It's really cool, and I didn't even realize that I was doing it. You know, the one of those books where you just you hear of something, read something, and you're like, oh my God, I didn't even realize I was doing that. You know, it's just kind of something you do, and it becomes so natural that, you know, it's like until somebody says it, it's like, oh, duh. Yeah, I've been doing that forever. So a couple of times I had those moments in this book. I wish I was an author. I would love to. I do a lot of things unconsciously. I'm not a big talker. Contrary to popular belief, I'm horrible at talking and like voicing my experiences and stuff. That's why I don't do lives more often, because I have nothing to talk about. But with the NLP, imagine changing your internal thought patterns and having your external life change. So that's exactly what we're striving for with energy manipulation and magic, right? It's our inside, our astral, our, you know, unseen that we want to manifest into our physical reality. So NLP makes total sense to me. He does a lot with sigils and enhancing our astral experiences, really kind of leveling up our practices. So I wanted to read you a few things that he says. A magical link is a link between the base you are manipulating and a real-world target. Essentially, the stronger the link you have, the easier it is to manipulate the target. He goes on to say anything that identifies a target can be a link, but the strength of the link depends on how unique it is to that individual and how well the magician can relate to that link. The link is expressed in a symbolic logical DNA codex, numbers or alphabet. Instead of something that was part of a person, even your memory of a person is a link that you can bring up to the surface and use. So you don't have to have physical, you know, hair and all this stuff. Even your memory, your, like how they smell, how they feel, how their energy was when you were with them. That is all a link. So I wanted to read you one of the games that he gives you to play. It's called the puppy ball game. And I've been doing this. This is one of those moments where I was like, oh shit, I've been doing that for years. Okay, so I always say that I'm talking to the dogs, and it's really like this imaginary fairy that I have on my shoulder. Have you ever seen like Jiminy Cricket and the good Jiminy Cricket and the bad Jiminy Cricket? That's kind of what I have, what I envision I have. I don't know if they're guides maybe, but I envision them as fairies. Anyway, so create a ball that can hover, as in the hoverball game. Oh, so you create this ball, and it you know the energy ball that we all learn to make, right? This ball, get to the point where you can like make it go in and out of rooms, float places, you know, that type of thing. That's the first exercises that I learned way long ago. You know, those are the exercises that you start with. And then the puppy ball game is to take that energy ball. Let me see where I am. Hang on. Pay attention to the ball as it follows you. After you are sure the ball is following you, stop paying attention to it and see how long it takes for the ball to dissipate. Continue to try to extend the time the ball can follow you without concentration. After you've reached 10 minutes or so, find a partner and each allow your energy ball to follow the other person. Verify that the other person's ball is still there. See how long it can keep the ball going. Write down your increasing success in your journal. So that's just one of the fun exercises. It's packed with all sorts of stuff like that. He even says what to do if you make an accidental link. If you accidentally condition a link you don't want, so you associate like drinking with cigarettes, right? If you're trying to quit smoking, you go out and have a drink, oh, you want a cigarette really bad. So if you condition a link you don't want, pull forward the experience and remove all your sensory information while concentrating on the link. This usually means a duller, darker, farther away, and less perceivable, less of what you are feeling. Right? It's teaching you how to decondition out of those patterns that are unwanted. It gives you things to think about in this book, right? So he's saying here about invocation and evocation. In its simplest form, evocation usually contains some sort of protection ritual or gesture for the operator in the focus point, which is often also a containment field in which to invoke the entity. Hoodoo traditions and some schools of sorcery will use a spirit circle for this, while using bathing as the cleansing and protection ritual. Ceremonial magic will use a circle with various names of God inscribed around it with the highly charged triangle, which acts to contain whatever you are summoning. You would stand in the circle of protection. The triangle would be in front and outside of the circle, pointing toward the circle. This is described more in depth later on. Some traditions will place limits on what should be evoked or invoked, but I myself have violated those rules. For example, there are times when an angelic evocation will be exactly what I need to do, and other times when I have to invoke a demonic entity to make the changes I need to make. When we are talking about projecting emotional or divinatory energies over a candle, over a sympathetic link, etc., we were essentially doing a type of evocation. So I never thought of it that way. That's very true, right? We're evoking a certain energy that we want manifested by burning that candle. Yeah. Wow. This book was absolutely awesome. And I hope that you guys grab it. Of course, you don't have to use the link down below. Just look it up. It's right on Amazon. If you don't want to use that, that's fine. But I really think that it's going to be beneficial to your practice. Any form of energy manipulation, even like the law of attraction, that type of thing. It's like asking the universe for what you want and having it be heard. So in conclusion, I think that this book weaves ancient magic practices with new magic practices and blends it in a way that makes it really beneficial for anybody starting out especially, but anybody that wants to like up the practice game too. In my humble opinion, this book is a must-have for any magical practitioner at any stage. Hands-on Chaos Magic deserves a place on your shelf. I give it 4.8 out of 5 stars. It is Hands-on Chaos Magic by Andre Vitamus, and here's the cover. So I hope you pick it up and let me know what you think. All right, until next time, blessings. And really give that book a fair shake on the channel. The only book I think I've ever given that rating to is